Hi, thanks for joining me. So today we're going to go over my figurine collection, at least a portion of it. I recently just put out a short poll to my Patreon supporters, asking, here's some videos that I want to be making. What do you guys want to see first? And much to my surprise, it seemed like the consensus was, hey, we'd like to see about your figurine collection. So, at risk of seeming like more of a creepy otaku than I already do, I wanted to show off some of these figurines for you, and just kind of let you know the circumstances by which I came across them. Now, as a collector of things like this, I went through a phase a handful of years ago where I kind of got out of my system the collection of action figures and some of that kind of stuff. So I haven't really gone out of my way to really get into collecting anime figurines. One, they're expensive. Two, they take up space, and three, I'm just like, I've been there and done that a little bit. But throughout the years, I've gotten a handful of figurines as souvenirs and as gifts. And as the years goes by, that's it's kind of built up, and I started to a little more recently take an interest in actively picking up some figurines. So for starters, we're going to start off here with Echidna. This is a character from Queensblade. I assume that you guys are at least somewhat familiar with Queensblade, but it is a series of like role-playing battle books. So it seems like each person, has a book. They fight against another person with another book. Each book represents a single character, and I assume that there's dice rolls and things like that involved. Now, as far as I know, a Japanese company licensed this from I believe it was a U.S. company that had developed this role-playing game system, and they expanded it into like an anime and video games and all kinds of stuff. Of course, featuring all these sort of beautiful girl characters. Now, Echidna is a character that appears in the anime. That was my first introduction to her, and my friend and I kind of got into this anime. It's a little, I guess I'll go ahead and say ecchi, and but it's fun. Like the characters are, they're really cool. It's kind of all about these pretty girl characters, and somehow they just did a really good job with it. So this particular figurine, it's a special edition, and I almost think that I think of it as another character in the series named Melona. She's like a slime character, she's sort of a shapeshifter, and she can turn into anything that she wants. So it seems to me almost like a version of her that has taken on the form of Echidna, because we see her kind of signature slime um, tentacle with eyes on it that is kind of coming from Echidna's nether regions here. It's a little bit of a naughty character, and in addition to that, or figurine, I guess, and as well, and in addition to that, these characters actually are all they're what's called cast-off figures, and I had no idea what that meant at first when I saw it a number of years ago. It almost sounds like a factory defect or something, a cast-off character. I thought, well, oh, maybe can get a defect cheaper, character figurine for cheaper or something, but that's not the case. It means that they have removable clothing. So that's a feature of these. But yeah, I just think these are really beautiful figurines. The sculpts are great. The colors are, paint and everything. It's wonderful. They did a really good job on these. And honestly, the last time I was in Japan, these figurines were all over Akihabara. Like the figurine stores were just saturated with these. And my memory may be wrong, but I don't remember these costing very much. I think they were around $40 in yen. And I don't know. It conjures up images of like kids painting these in sweatshops or something, but that stuff aside, they're wonderfully made. So kudos to them for that. The next character that I ended up picking up is her name is Noah. Now she is more of a kind of a wild girl character. She's an elf. But she kind of embodies that, like almost like a Tarzan character, sort of like a girl of the jungle. Not an Amazon so much, but she has this little monkey companion, and yeah, incidentally, she goes commando, which is a feature of this figurine as well. But yeah, I ended up picking this figurine up when I was actually visiting a friend in Montreal. I've spoken about him several times, and I was visiting him. We ended up going to the Montreal Comic Con, and I wanted a souvenir. Now, interestingly enough, they actually had some of the Queensblade books there. But I saw this figure. They had a handful of the Queensblade figures, and I was just like, that's pretty cool. I wasn't necessarily a Noah fan in general, but I had another Queensblade figure, and I was like, that would be a really cool thing for me to be able to bring back from, my trip to Canada, and just sort of remind me of that experience we had. So I ended up getting this. It's interestingly enough another color variation. So her normal outfit is orange, and in this case she's wearing a pink outfit. And it's funny, once you make the decision to get something like this, even though it's the color variant, and had I a choice between the two, I probably would have picked the normal color. This color has really grown on me now, so I sort of love like her pink outfit. I think it's really cool. So having kind of drunk the Kool-Aid on this, so to speak, I was starting to feel a little bit like a Queensblade figurine collector, and I started going online around this time. I think they were up to Queensblade Rebellion, which is I think it's just another series of the books, kind of like they did Queensgate, where they pulled in a lot of characters from sort of like other like anime and video game kind of pop culture into the Queensblade role-playing book series. And anyway, so I wasn't familiar with this character from the anime or anything like that, but I saw Bronwyn, who is this kind of like slave girl character. She reminds me of like Slave Leia, from the Return of the Jedi. And of course, I don't you know endorse or condone slavery or anything like that. But again, these characters are all kind of they're tropey, and so this is kind of it's kind of a character like a fantasy character trope in that sense. And I just think it's a really beautiful figure. It's this is all fantasy and it's all good, and I think she's a really just a really wonderful figurine. She's got this long brown hair. She has, interestingly, I forget what the condition is called, but two different colored eyes. She has this sort of brand or tattoo on her thigh, and it's a really nice figurine, and I really wanted it when I saw it. So after that, I was starting to think, well, what are some other of these figurines that I want to add to my collection? And some of the figurines actually are quite sought after and are fairly expensive, and some of them it seems like were either overproduced or under sought after, or both. So they're a little bit more affordable. I think even now you can get some of these in the years later. So I ended up picking up Arina, who is the character they actually chose to make the main character of the anime. I'm sure that was relatively arbitrary, but they ended up writing their story around her and her family and the other characters that were by the same character designer. And I think it's somebody that I know, but I don't remember their name or what they've done offhand. So hopefully you're seeing that information as I say this. But she's a fun character from the show, and I went ahead and picked up her figurine. It seems to me a little bit like this might have been a little bit more of an experimental figurine. It seems like it was probably one of the first ones, and I actually think she may not be cast off. Which most of, or as far as I know, all of the other figures are. The box is slightly different, things like that too. But it's a cool figurine, and I like it as well. Additionally, I picked up Alina, who is her sister character. Actually has this weird like sister complex thing with Reina in the anime anyway, which is kind of neither here nor there. I'm sure for the people that play the the role-playing book game and such. But she's a really cool character too. I like her design. She's a little maybe not the most likable character in the series, but again, I think her design is great, and I think this is a really cool looking figure. I was really happy to have kind of these two Vance sisters, and I am unfortunately missing the third sister from that family. Now, the final couple of figurines that I have here for the series is the circumstances under which I got them were a little bit unfortunate. It turned out that the same friend actually who had gotten me my original Queen's Blade figure, I had let him borrow some money, and we were negotiating how I would be paid back for that, and so we ended up trading for some figurines here. So I ended up getting a couple of the Queen's Blade figurines that he had gotten also for himself. And I feel a little bit bad about that still, just because one, I would have rather been paid back normally, and two, I feel like I kind of robbed him of his figurines to a certain extent. But these are still really cool to have. The first one is Melona. She's that slime character that I had been mentioning before, and she's interesting. In the anime, they set her up as kind of a foil to the main characters. She's sort of a like one of the enemy, sort of the bad guy characters, but she's kind of a lot of fun in the series. She has a funny personality, and she does though seem like they make her like this sort of creepy not human character. She ends up having these eyes most of the time that are like it almost looks like, I don't know what, a slug or a snail or some sort of creature. And she can turn into anything that she wants, and it's a very interesting character. It's a very nice looking figurine. I really love the translucent plastic that they have, where it's painted in some places so it's opaque, and then it sort of shifts into being translucent in some places. I think it's really cool. One unfortunate side effect of having gotten these from my friend as well is that he didn't keep the boxes. Now, I totally forgive this because anybody who's collecting figurines, you're going to go through this at some point where you don't keep a box. Unfortunately, it is a little frustrating because when you have figurines, you have some on display, and it's nice to have something to put them back into when they're not on display. You can put them into a closet or something like that. It keeps them safe. It's also you don't necessarily own these things. You've purchased them with money, but you're kind of a caretaker of an object like this. I mean, you're not going to own it forever. Either you're going to want to sell it at some point, or we don't stay here forever. And I mean, you can throw these things into the trash, but it's nice to think of passing them on to somebody. And it's just harder to do without a box. But at any rate, so I ended up taking my own photos of these figurines just because they're out and they're not packed away, and I kind of have to keep them on display. So for what that's worth, this next character, Ymir, is a dwarven princess, I believe. It's kind of their in story excuse for having the kind of requisite lowly character. But she's a very nice character design. I think the character's very pretty. She's got these, sort of ringlets, kind of the drill hair, so to speak, that they do in these anime shows, and it's very cool. She is something of a blacksmith, I believe, sort of a weaponsmith, as is one of the other characters in the series, and so she's got this huge sort of dwarven axe here, which is really cool. And I just think it's a fun character. It's kind of a nice pose and everything like that. So yeah, so those are my Queen's Blade figurines. I hope that this was interesting for you guys. Like I said, I'm going to do a couple more videos, a few more videos talking about my figurine collections. Hope you guys are looking forward to that. And thank you very much for joining. I hope that you will join me again.